This is another career tiny home in The Sims 4. Basically, what we're doing is going through the careers A through Z, creating tiny homes that not only cater to your Sims career, but also give them perks because it is a tiny home. There are so many great perks to being in a tiny home. There are 3 different tiers. This is the tiny home of all tiny homes. It's a micro home. I don't typically go micro with these builds. A lot of time I try to stay in the small home, which is under 64 tiles, but above 32 tiles. However, in a micro home, not only will you pay less bills, will you get relationship gains, you'll feel fine all the time. Everything is twice as comfortable. Your skills will gain twice as fast. But the big thing, the reason that this one is a micro home is because your plants grow twice as fast. And the reason that that is so great here is because this is the gardening career home. So plants are life in this house. I wanted to make sure that it stayed in that tiny little micro home tier so that we could get that perk because that's going to help out your gardening sim. I knew that I wanted to have like a greenhouse in this home. It just makes sense, right? But because it was so tiny, the way that I wanted to lay it out wasn't feasible. It would have made everything too tiny. So what I did was created this U-shaped house so that you had a roof over this middle section in the U so you can grow out of season plants, which is so top tier because when you're playing with seasons, you definitely have to worry about what plants are in season, how the weather's going to affect, but having that roof over changes everything. This is a tiny home to the T, though. Everything is real condensed and squished together to make sure that we utilize every tile of these 32 tiles. So on one end of the U shape, you have your bathroom, which is really just a tiny bathroom. Then right outside the bathroom, not ideal, but it's your kitchen. I mean, like I said, not ideal to have your kitchen right outside of a bathroom, but desperate times, desperate measures. I knew really early on that I wanted this to be very bright and colorful, very artistic feeling. Using cottage living kitchen in this really pretty yellow swatch was just key. I loved it. I did, however, struggle with what this layout would look like and decided to go ahead and do this little L shape so that I could give you some cabinets on top, but still have all the essentials. You can prep on that little corner counter, and then you have obviously your sink, your stove, and your fridge. I decided to go ahead and use the Tiny Living TV, and I didn't really like where it was sitting. I wanted to keep this little space open, but I went ahead and created a wall right there for that TV to sit on. I do end up closing it off completely and putting an archway right there. It just was a little bit nicer to have everything kind of separated. We used the movie Hangout Pack and Cottage Living to create this little sitting area that I just think is so bright and fun and colorful. I do cut off the kitchen as well. Cut off, that sounds terrible, but I go ahead and close it off. That's what I'm looking for. I close it off and put an archway into the kitchen. I just liked the separation a little bit better. It felt more cohesive for the spaces. I didn't have to make everything go 100% with each other because it created these rooms where they could each have their own theme and style while still being colorful and bright. I used a bunk bed in this bedroom because it just made sense that we could go ahead and get a computer in here for your sim to use and really create this functioning bedroom that has everything you need. I used the Love Struck desk, which is so cute and colorful, and then a little high school years chair. I love that chair. I use it all the time. I think it has some really great swatches. It can be really like elegant and subtle, but it also can be really bright and fun and bubbly. Yes, I just described a chair as bubbly. I created a little dining area so your sim could sit at the table, eat, hang out, and have a friend over potentially. I have been really trying to use more of the lights. I tend to just go for the saucer lights and forget to make the spaces more unique with hanging lights and chandeliers and sconces. So I'm really trying to make a point of adding those things in because I think they can be so fun and really bring a space together. In the little living area, I add the Love Struck chandelier. It's so cute and fun. Then we use the Blooming Room kit. It has this hanging light with a plant, and we are full on planty vibes, right? So had to use that light. Love Struck has these really cute wall plant thingies, planter boxes. I don't know what you want to call it. It probably has a name and I just never read the name. I just grab them. But it was really nice as they have different swatches that are the same. So we can go back in and change up one of them so they look different, even though they are the same, if that makes sense. I also use the ceiling planter boxes from Love Struck and I use them outside. I really think they look cute. Just hanging out there adds a little something extra. For the windows, I always try to get my layout laid out so I have a better idea of where the windows should go and what they're going to look like. I tried to make a lot of different things work, but honestly, after playing around with all the windows and doors and thinking up different combos, I decided to lean into the Greenhouse Haven kit. I'd already put these really nice windows in the back. So I used the Greenhouse kit, but I also used those Love Struck windows. I think that they look really nice and they match really well. And then of course we use the Love Struck planter boxes because it's kind of like a necessity at this point. Because I couldn't make a greenhouse actually work in this house, I think it's really important that I got to use a glass roof. It creates that overhang in the back to where it's kind of like an open greenhouse. And it also gives you a really pretty skylight in your little living area. I love how open this house is. It feels really basic when I look at it. It almost looks like this little box. But knowing that it's this nice little U shape, I really love it. I think that it has something special to it and it's a little different. Now, for the gardening career, it does come with seasons. So you'll need to have seasons. But in the gardening career, you're going to obviously want to get your gardening skill up. You also need logic and you'll also need to craft flower arrangements for different levels of the career. So I obviously will give you a telescope and a flower arranging station so that you can do those things. And then as well as the 6 little planters in the back, I give you some wall planters and I even give you some cottage living gardening plots. I love the way that yellow and blue complement each other. So I used this blue siding for the color of the house. And then I go in with lots of different yellow flowers and obviously the little yellow planter boxes. And I think it just comes together really nicely. So I've created these little plots for you. I've added a sprinkler from Seasons so your plants can be watered. I just think it looks really cute. It gives you a lot of space to go ahead and garden. I liked the thought of this really cute picket fence. It just felt so fitting. And honestly, that swing set, love, literally one of my favorite things. And I don't use it all the time, but it's so pretty. I added a cute little staircase. The staircase is from Love Struck. It doesn't look like a staircase because I only have the foundation raised once. But because of that, it creates this really pretty little porch area. And I kind of brought the roof out a little bit to add to that little porch area. You can't really put anything on it, but the effect is so nice. I knew that we needed some outdoor lights. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do until I saw the little ant string lights. They are literally my favorite. I kind of just placed them around the bottoms at first. And because I really like that, I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and all place them Like this little gardener has just strung up fairy lights everywhere. So we kind of raise them all the way to the top. And it's such a subtle little detail, but adds some lighting around the house for nighttime. And I just think it's so fun and sweet. I love fairy lights. And who needs big fancy porch lights when you have fairy lights everywhere that just twinkle and look so pretty? And look at that. It is just so pretty and lights everything up. Gorgeous. I wanted to create a little sitting area outside. My imagination is that the sim loves being outdoors. They love gardening. It's their life. So why wouldn't they have a little spot outside where they can sit and enjoy being out in the sun without working hard on their garden, or maybe going and take a break from working hard on their garden? Like I said, keeping this real bright, lots of yellow. I love yellow. It's so sunny. It's not my favorite color. My favorite color is green, plants, but the yellow was just iconic for this, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Wallpapers I struggled with, which is why I decided to go ahead and close off certain areas like the bedroom and the kitchen, because nothing flowed well together, not in the way I wanted it to. You know what I mean? Also, if you look at the little Love Struck planters right there, you can see that they are different. I changed the swatch, so now you can have two of them, but they're not identical and look repetitive. Give me a second. Let me live out my chaotic era of using the beautiful plant wallpaper. I love it, but it's a little much. So we go ahead and close off these rooms, starting with the bedroom. And I end up using the Love Struck door. I like how it looks. It's like skinny little door frame, so it works perfectly for this small space. I do change up the table into the cottage living table. I liked the floral better on it, as much as I was like, yellow. There was something about the pink that just flowed a little bit better. It doesn't feel like it right now because I was still living in my chaotic plant wallpaper stage, but it goes in the end. So now I'm closing off the kitchen, adding that same little door frame. It just creates these rooms so I can decorate them a little differently. In the kitchen, we use the Home Chef Hustle wallpaper, the little tiles. So pretty. I absolutely love that wallpaper. I use it quite a bit. It just has a really nice vibe to it. Oh my gosh, I actually don't remember if I kept the Love Struck vine wallpaper. I think I did, actually. It was different. And it felt like the gardener who lives here painted the walls. You know what I mean? Like, that was just something that they did. They moved into this house and made it their own and painted these vines. So because of that, I add the art easel to kind of go with this thought that the person who lives here is so artsy, loves outside, and yeah, painted vines on their walls. It may not be for everyone, but I think it's really pretty. It's different. I needed something in this corner, and so I wanted to do some shelving and put the knitting and cross stitch items in the shelf, but kind of struggled knowing which shelf I wanted to use. I end up using this high school years one, and I think it's super cute. Size down the knitting, and I'll place it to this corner, but I just think it's so pretty. It adds a little something extra. We're talking about this sim being kind of crafty and works with their hands a lot. So it made sense that they would have some cross stitch and knitting supplies. I use the Desert Luxe curtains and I put them in this soft pink color. I really like the way they turn out. I think they're so pretty. Adds this obvious sheerness, still lets outside light in, but just kind of cozies everything up a little bit. Cottage living curtain for the kitchen, and then a cute little paranormal curtain in the little living space with the beads hanging down from it. I like it. I think it's super cute, and I love this house so much. I just think it's so pretty. It's tiny, itty bitty little thing, but just a really cozy, fun, colorful space to live in. Oh, look at that. It's not pink. I turned it mint. Of course, it's time to start adding plants to this place. I love the hanging plants. We need more hanging plants. Hey, Sims team, hanging plants, more please. Lots more. And then it's a good time to start cluttering just little items to bring this lived in feel to this house, like a purse or the little book and coffee cup on the table. Just some sweet little items. I love this little cats and dog rug. I use it so much. I love the little like knit aspect of it. This like, I don't know what not wicker, straw. What would that rug be made out of? Somebody tell me. It probably says it. I need to be better at reading the descriptions, like the names of the things that I like to use. I just use them. I like don't pay attention to what they're called. Like who knew that was called Deep Pile Thoughts? That rug. Okay. I love this little tiny home bathroom shelf. I think it has such cute clutter already placed on it, and it's got some great swatches. So it goes with a lot of different decor. I tend to use it a lot, but I think that's pretty normal that you just have favorite things that you just use because they're easy and they fit your style. Things that made sense, using the little flower string lights above the bed. Hey, first of all, the Sim loves flowers. They love to garden and plant things, so it made sense. Then I used this little industrial kit rug. It is like a fuzzy, fluffy rug. It has some weird swatches, but the orange one is always nice. So I just sized it down and it's perfect for that bedroom. I didn't use a whole lot of wall art in here, just minor things actually from Tiny Living, because I think that this painting has some great swatches on it. I usually use the leaves, but use the flowers this time because duh. For the bathroom, it obviously needs curtains. It's literally 2 walls of windows. We use the Modern Luxe kit. It doesn't necessarily match because there's a lot of silver fixtures happening in this bathroom. But I decided to go ahead and get rid of the little teal minty rug and use that deep thought pile rug in that pretty little like, I want to call it cotton candy. It's not cotton candy, but just like watercolor-esque swatch. Now, getting in the backyard, I wanted plants. Plants, more plants. I want this to be a gardener's paradise, which it can't because it's a tiny home, but it can be really cute. So not only do I add lots of plants back here, but I also decide to get the vertical wall planters. Add some more space for your Sims to go plant crazy. And then we add Patchy because Patchy's a great help when you are gardening. Sometimes you can make a best friend and he can help too. Now, this house is not play tested, but by the time I put it on the gallery, it will be. I always try to make sure that I play test these builds so they're ready for you and your Sim to get in there and get to work. We've added little bird feeders, a wind chime, and then a nice little yellow telescope for your Sim to get that logic skill. All in all, I have to say that I'm real happy with the way that this build turned out. It's super cute and tiny, extra tiny, micro tiny, and ready for your Sim to get in here and do their thing and plant lots of plants, garden, all the time, make it their entire life, and move along in their career. So this is literally final touches, getting in here, doing some nice terrain paint to kind of make it feel a little more lived in. I like that, lived in. We're going to add in just a little bit of these terrain pavers. They're new, and I kind of go back over them with some dirt and erase a little bit, try to make it feel like a path that's been walked on a lot. But this is pretty much it. I think it's time we get in here and look at these screenshots of the garden career tiny home. If you like this build, it will be on the gallery. play tested and ready for your sim. My EA ID is CatX Thrash, just like the name here on YouTube. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate every single one of you who has been here with me for the past year, just hanging out, having some fun with some Sims builds. I hope you have a great night wherever you are. Bye, y'all.